Don't forget to subscribe. Afterwards, the wisest and most spiritual books from the greatest authors await you every day. And now buckle up, sit back and we'll begin. The Bhagavad Gita, or in translation from Sanskrit, the Song of God, is the most important part of the Indian epic poem Mahabharata. The latter describes events that took place about 5,000 years ago. The Bhagavad Gita is a great philosophical work that played the same role in the history of India as the New Testament did in the history of the countries of the European culture. Both these books powerfully proclaim the principle of love bhakti as the basis of spiritual development of man. The Bhagavad Gita also presents us with a complete notion about such fundamental problems of philosophy as what is man, what is God, what is the meaning of human life, and what are the principles of human evolution. The main hero of the Bhagavad Gita is Krishna, an Indian Raja and an avatar, an embodiment of a part of the Creator, who gave to people through Krishna the greatest spiritual precepts. Philosophical truths are expounded in the Bhagavad Gita in the form of a dialogue between Krishna and his friend Arjuna before the military combat. Arjuna had been preparing for this righteous battle. But when the day of the battle came and Arjuna with his army was standing in front of the warriors of the adverse party, he recognized among them his own kinsmen and former friends, and he, being provoked to it by Krishna, began to doubt his right to participate in the battle. He shared these doubts with Krishna. Krishna reproached him, "Watch how many people gathered here to lay down their lives for you. And the encounter is unavoidable. How can you, who brought these people here to die, leave them at the very last moment? Since you, a professional warrior, took up arms, then fight for the righteous cause, and understand that the life of each of us in the body is but a short period of the true life. Man is not a body and does not die with the death of the body, and in that sense, no one can kill and no one can be killed." Arjuna, intrigued by these words of Krishna, asked him more and more questions, and from Krishna's answers it becomes clear that the path to perfection goes not through killing but through love. Love at first for the manifested aspects of God Absolute, and then for the Creator Himself. These answers of Krishna are the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, one of the greatest by the profoundness of wisdom and the breadth of the fundamental problems covered books existing on the earth. There are quite a few translations of this book, but they all seem less than ideal to us. Some translations are very poetic, but their meaning is often very inaccurate. Others translate very dryly, and it becomes almost impossible to read. But the main point is that most translators are not experts in spirituality, but only experts in linguistics. And this, of course, is not enough, given that this book is one of the main, if not the most important book of mankind in the field of spiritual knowledge. That's why we, as the Portal World of Books, present to you a translation from a man who has been engaged in spiritual search all his life and in the field of various religions. He has already written several dozens of books that have received international recognition. So it's his translation that we consider the most useful for spiritual development. Also, at the end of the book there are small comments if you want to understand the content of this book more deeply. So sit back as we begin the most useful and wise book ever written by man on behalf of God Himself. Bhagavad Gita with commentaries at the end. Edition and commentaries by Vladimir Antonov, corrector of an English translation Keenan Murphy. Conversation 1. Arjuna's despair. Dhritarashtra said, "On the field of Dharma, on the sacred field of Kuru, my sons and the sons of Pandu have gathered desiring to battle. What are they doing, O Sanjaya?" Sanjaya replied, "Raja Duryodhana, seeing the army of the Pandavas drawn up for battle, approached his guru Drona and said, 'Behold, O master, this powerful army of the sons of Pandu, arrayed for battle by the son of Drupada, your talented disciple. Here are the mighty archers, equal to Bhima and Arjuna in battle. Yayadhana and Virata, and Drupada on a great chariot, Drishtaketu, Chekatana, valorous Raja of Kashi Purajit, Kuntabhoja and Shaivya, the heroes among men, mighty Udhamanyu, fearless Udamoha, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi all on great chariots. Know also our chiefs, O best of twice born, the leaders of my army. These are their names, yourself, Bhishma, victorious Karna and Kripa, Ashvathama, Vikarna, and the son of Samadatta, and many other heroes who are ready to lay down their lives for me, all equipped with diverse weapons. All are experienced warriors. Our forces seem to me insufficient, though they are commanded by Bhishma, and theirs seem to me sufficient, though they are commanded by Bhima. Therefore, let everyone, standing in his place in troops, and you, chiefs, guard Bhishma. To inspirit him, the oldest of the chorus, glorious Bhishma blew his conch shell, which sounds like a roaring lion. Right away conch shells and cymbals, drums, and horns blared in response, producing a tumultuous noise. Then seated in a great chariot yaked to white horses, Madhava and Pandava blew their heavenly conch shells. Rishikesha blew the Panchajanya, Dhananjaya blew the Devadatta, and a man of great exploits Vrikadara blew his conch shell, the Pondra. King Yudhishthira the son of Kunti blew the Anantavijaya, Nakula blew the Sagosa, and Sahadeva blew the Manipashpaka. And Kashi of the great archer, and Shikandi the mighty warrior on a chariot, and invincible Drishtadyumna, Bharata, and Satyaki, and Drupada and Draupadi sons, and the mighty armed son of Subhadra, each of them blew their own conch shell, O Lord of the earth. And this terrible roar, filling the sky and the earth with thunder, shatters the hearts of Dhritarashtra's sons. Then, seeing the sons Dhritarashtra ready to begin the battle, Pandava, whose helmet bore the image of a monkey, lifted his bow and addressed Rishikesha, the lord of the earth, with such words: My chariot is between the two armies, O infallible one. I see here warriors gathered for battle, whom I must combat. I see those anxious to please the wicked son of Dhritarashtra. Sanjaya said, O Bharata, addressed thus by Arjuna, Rishikesha stopped their magnificent chariot between the two armies and pointing at Bhishma, Drona, and all other kings, said, Behold, O Partha, the Kuras assembled together. Then Partha saw, standing against each other, fathers and grandfathers, gurus, uncles, cousins, sons, grandsons, and friends, fathers-in-law and comrades separated into the hostile armies. Beholding all these arraying kinsmen, overcome with deep pity, Arjuna sadly said, O Krishna, as I see my kinsmen here eager to wage war, my limbs fail, and my mouth is parched, my body quivers and my hair stands on end. Gandiva slips from my hand, and all my skin burns. I am unable to stand, and my mind whirls. I see evil omens, O Keshava, and do not expect any good from the slaughtering of my own kinsmen. O Krishna, I desire neither victory, nor kingdom, nor earthly pleasures. Of what avail for us is kingdom, O Govinda? Of what avail are earthly pleasures or the life itself? Those for whose sake we seek kingdom, joy, and worldly pleasures stand here in battle, having renounced their wealth and life, teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives. I do not want to kill them, even though I am to be killed, O Madhusadana. I do not want to, even if it would give me the power over the three worlds. How am I to do it, for the sake of earthly rule? What satisfaction can it be for us in killing these sons of Dhritarashtra, O Janardana? By killing these rebels, we will commit a great sin. We should not kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, our kinsmen. How can we be happy after killing our own kinsmen, O Madhava? Even if their minds, overcome by greed, perceive no evil in destroying the family grounds and in treachery to friends, then why should we, who see clearly the evil of such destruction, commit this act of sin, O Janardana? With the destruction of the family perish the age-old traditions, and when the virtue is lost, vice overcomes the entire family. Krishna, when vice prevails, women of families become unchaste. The debauchery of women leads to mixture of varnas. The mixture of the varnas ensures hell both for the destroyers of the family and for the family itself, since the souls of the ancestors languish because of lack of offerings of rice and water. By the sin of these family destroyers, who caused the intermixture of the varnas, the ancient caste and family virtues are ruined too. We have heard, O Janardana, that those who destroy the family traditions go forever to hell. Alas! Out of desire to rule the kingdom, we are ready to commit a great sin, to kill our own kinsmen. Much better it would be to me to be killed unarmed and unresisting in the battle by the Dhritarashtra's sons. Sanjaya said. Having said this on the battlefield, Arjuna sat down in his chariot, overwhelmed with sorrow. He dropped his bow and arrows. Thus in the Upanishads of the blessed Bhagavad Gita, the science of eternal, the scripture of yoga, says the first conversation between Shri Krishna and Arjuna, entitled Arjuna's Despair. Conversation 2. Sankhya Yoga. Sanjaya said to him, who was overwhelmed with sorrow and despair, whose eyes were flowing with tears, Madhusadana said, whence has come over you, in this crucial moment, such shameful, unbecoming to an Aryan despair, which blocks the gate to paradise, O Arjuna? Do not yield to feebleness, O Partha. Cast off this miserable faint-heartedness, O Parantapa, and arise. Arjuna said, O Madhusadana, how can I attack with arrows Bhishma and Drona, they who deserve the deepest reverence, O conqueror of enemies? Verily it is better to live on alms as a beggar than to kill these great gurus. If I kill these highly esteemed gurus, then all my food will be stained with their blood. I do not know what is better, to be conquered, or to conquer them who stand against us, the sons of Dhritarashtra. Having killed them, we will not wish to live. My heart is full of sorrow, my mind is perplexed, I am confused about my duty. I beseech you, tell me certainly what is better. I am your disciple and ask you, please instruct me. The sorrow is shivering my senses, and I know nothing that can dispel it, neither attainment of the highest power on the earth, nor even lordship over the gods. Sanjaya said. Having said this to Rishikesha, Gudakesha, the destroyer of enemies, uttered, Govinda the first will not fight, and became silent. Stationed in between the two armies, Rishikesha with a smile, told despondent Arjuna, you are mourning for that which should not be mourned for, though you have said the words of wisdom. But the wise bemoans neither the living nor the dead. For verily never there was a time when I or you or these kings did not exist, and verily we will not cease to exist in the future. Just as a soul dwelling in a body goes through childhood, maturity, and old age, so it leaves one body and enters another. The strong one does not grieve about this. The contact with matter, O Kunteya, produces feelings of heat and cold, of pleasure and pain. These feelings are transient, they come and go. Endure them with fortitude, O Bharata. The one who is unmoved by them, O greatest of men, who remains sober and unfaltering in joy, and in trouble, such one is able to attain immortality. Know that the transient, impermanent has no true existence, and the eternal, imperishable never ceases to exist. This is discerned by those who have perceived the essence of things, and see the truth. Know that no one can destroy him who pervades the entire universe. No one can bring him to death. That eternal and imperishable is beyond the control of anyone. Only the body of an embodied soul is perishable, but the soul itself is eternal and indestructible. Fight, therefore, O Bharata. They who think that they can kill, and they who think that they can be killed are mistaken. Man can neither kill, nor can be killed. Man neither appears, nor disappears. Having once come into being, man never ceases to be. Man, an immortal soul, does not perish when the body is destroyed. The one who knows that man is an imperishable, eternal, unborn, and immortal soul, how can such one killer be killed? As one throws off worn-out clothes and puts on others that are new, so a soul throws off worn-out bodies and enters new ones. Weapons cannot cut a soul, fire cannot burn it, water cannot wet it, nor can wind wither it. Nothing can cut, burn, wet or wither a soul non-cuttable, non-flammable, non-wettable, non-dryable. A soul non-incarnate is said to be unmanifest, formless, and imperishable. Therefore, knowing this, you should not grieve. Even if you thought that a soul gets born and dies again and again, even then, O mighty armed, you should not grieve. Verily death is predestinated for the born one, and birth is unavoidable for the one who has died. Do not grieve over what is inevitable. All beings are unmanifest before the material manifestation, and unmanifest after. They are manifest only in the middle, O Bharata. What is the reason to grieve then? Some think about soul as a wonder, others speak of it as a wonder, and there are those who, having come to know about it, cannot understand what it means. The incarnate can never be killed, O Bharata. Therefore, do not mourn any killed creature. And thinking of your own dharma, you should not waver, O Arjuna. Verily for a Kshatriya there is nothing more desirable than a righteous war. Lucky are those Kshatriyas, O Bharata, to whose lot falls such a battle. It is like an open gate to heaven. But if you withdraw now from this righteous battle, refusing your dharma and your honor, then you will incur sin. All people will know about your eternal disgrace. And for the glorious one, disgrace is worse than death. The great warriors on chariots will think that fear made you flee from the battlefield. And you, whom they esteemed so much, will be despised by them. Your enemies will say many mean words slandering your valor. What is more painful? Killed you will go to paradise, winner you will enjoy the earth. Arise therefore, O Kunteya, and be ready to fight. Regarding the like joy and sorrow, success and failure, victory and defeat, enter this battle. Thus you will avoid sin. What I have declared to you is the teachings of Sankhya about consciousness. Now listen how you can know this through Buddhi Yoga. By means of Buddhi, O Partha, you can break the bondage of karma. On the path of this yoga there is no loss. Even a little advancement on this path saves one from great danger. The will of the resolute is firmly directed towards this purpose. The impulses of irresolute one branch endlessly, O joy of the Kuras. O Partha, the unwise who hold to the letter of the Vedas utter flowery words declaring that beyond that there is nothing else. They are full of desires, their highest purpose is paradise, their concern is a good reincarnation, all their actions and rituals are aimed only at getting pleasure and power. Those who are attached to pleasure and power, who are bound by this, are not capable for resolute determination aimed at samadhi. The Vedas teach about the three gunas. Transcend these gunas, O Arjuna. Be free from the duality, always live in harmony, seeking not worldly possessions, remaining ever established in the Atman. To the one who has cognized Brahman, the Vedas are as useful as a pond in a flooded area. Regard only the work and not the reward for it. Let your motive for actions be not the profits from them. Yet, do not indulge in indolence. Renouncing the attachment to the reward for your actions, become even-minded in success and failure, O Dhananjaya. Such equanimity is characteristic of yoga, ceaselessly casting away all vain activity with the help of Buddhi Yoga. Learn to control yourself as a consciousness. Miserable are those who act only for the sake of getting a reward for their deeds. They who work with the consciousness are not subjected any more to good or bad karmic consequences of their activity. Therefore, devote yourself to yoga. Yoga is the art of action. The wise devoted to work with the consciousness free themselves from the law of karma and from the necessity to incarnate again. They attain full liberation from suffering. When you as a consciousness become free from the net of illusion, then you will be indifferent to the things you have heard and those yet to be heard. When you transcend the charm of the Vedas and become established in the peace of samadhi, then you will attain yoga. Arjuna said, "What is the mark of man whose thoughts are calmed, and who is established in samadhi, O Keshava? How does such a person talk, walk, and sit? Lord Krishna said, the one who has renounced all sensual cravings and, having gone deeply into the Atman, found satisfaction in the Atman, becomes steadfast in wisdom. The one whose mind is calm amidst sorrows, unmoved amidst pleasures, fear and anger, the one who is steadfast in this is called Muni. The one who is attached to nothing earthly, who facing pleasant and unpleasant things neither rejoices nor recoils, such one is established in the true knowledge. Taking the Indriyas off the earthly objects, like a tortoise withdrawing its limbs and head into its shell, such one attains the true understanding. The one who walks the path of detachment becomes free from the objects of the senses, but not from the taste for the objects. But even the taste for them vanishes in the one who has cognized the Supreme. O Kunteya, agitated Indriyas can distract the mind even of a wise person who tries to control them. Having tamed the Indriyas, this person should enter into harmony and have me as the highest aim. Only the one who controls the Indriyas has the true understanding. But if one comes back in the mind to the earthly objects, then inevitably an attachment to them arises. This attachment leads to the desire to possess these objects, and the impossibility to satisfy this desire produces anger. Because of anger, the perception gets completely distorted. The distortion of perception causes the loss of memory, and the loss of memory leads to the loss of the energy of the consciousness. By losing the energy of the consciousness, man degrades. But the one who has conquered the Indriyas, renounced attractions and distractions, and established oneself in the Atman attains the inner purity. When the inner purity is attained, all sorrows disappear and the consciousness strengthens. The non-resolute cannot be of a developed consciousness, they have neither happiness nor peace. And without them is bliss possible? The reason of a person who yields to the pressure of passions gets carried away like a ship carried away by the storm. Therefore, O mighty armed one, the one whose Indriyas are completely taken away from the earthly objects has the true understanding. What is night for all beings for the wise Muni is the time for staying awake, and when others are awake, the night for the wise Muni comes. If man stays unmoved by sensual desires as an ocean is unmoved by the rivers that flow into it, such man attains calm. And those who follow their desires can never find calm. The one who has renounced the desires to such an extent and goes forward free from passions, selfishness, and the feeling of I, such one attains calm. This is the state of Brahman, O Partha. The one who has attained it is never deluded. And the one who achieves this state even at the moment of death attains the nirvana of Brahman. Thus in the Upanishads of the blessed Bhagavad Gita, the science of eternal, the scripture of yoga, says the second conversation between Shri Krishna and Arjuna, entitled Sankhya Yoga. Conversation 3, Karma Yoga. Arjuna said, if you say, O Janardana, that the path of knowledge is superior to the path of action, then why do you encourage me to do such a terrible action? Your ambiguous words confuse me. Tell me certainly, how can I attain bliss? Lord Krishna said, there are two possibilities of development, as I have said already, O sinless one, the yoga of consideration and the yoga of right action. Man does not attain liberation from the chains of destiny by refusing action. By renunciation alone, one does not ascend to perfection. No one can stay truly actionless even for a moment, for the properties of Prakriti compel all to act. The one who has mastered control over the Indriyas, but still dreams about earthly objects, such one deludes oneself. Such a person can be likened to a hypocrite. But the one who has conquered the Indriyas and freely performs karma yoga deserves respect. Therefore, perform righteous actions, for action is better than inaction. Being idle, one cannot support even one's own body. Worldly people are enslaved by action if it is not performed as sacrifice. Perform your action as an offering to God, staying free from the attachment to everything worldly, O Kunteya. God created humankind together with the law of sacrifice. He said it that, prosper through sacrificial deeds. Let it be desired by you. Satisfy the divine with your sacrificial deeds, and it will satisfy you. By acting for its sake, you will achieve the highest good. For the divine satisfied with your sacrificial deeds will grant you whatever you need in life. The one who receives gifts and gives no gifts in return is verily a thief. The righteous who live on the remains of their sacrificial gifts to God are liberated from sins. But those who are anxious only about their own food, they feed on sin. Thanks to the food, the bodies of creatures grow. The food arises from rain. The rain arises from sacrifice. Sacrifice is performance of right action. Know that the realization of people's destinies is performed by Brahman, and Brahman represents the Supreme. Omnipresent Brahman always supports sacrificial behavior in people. The one who does not follow this law of sacrifice requital, whose life therefore is full of sin, who lives following only sensual pleasures, such one lives in vain, O Partha. Only they who have found joy and peace in the Atman and are happy in the Atman are free from the earthly duties. They have no duties of doing or non-doing something in this world anymore, and in no creature they seek patronage for realization of their purposes. Therefore, ceaselessly perform your duties without any expectation of reward. Verily, performing action thus does man attain the Supreme. Verily, it is through such action that Janaka and others attained perfection. So you too act so, remembering about the wholeness of the universe. What the best one is doing, the others are doing as well. People follow such an example. There is nothing, O Partha, in the three worlds that I am required to do or that I have not achieved. Yet, I am constantly engaged in action. For if I had not been always acting, O Partha, then people everywhere would follow my example. The world would be destroyed. If I had ceased to act, I would be the cause of mixture of the Varnas and destruction of the nations. The unwise one acts out of selfishness, O Bharata. The wise one acts without selfishness, for the good of others. The wise one should not confuse unwise people attached to worldly activity. The wise one should rather try to bring such activity into harmony with me. All actions arise from the three gunas. But the one deluded by conceit thinks, I am the doer. The one who knows the essence of discrimination of actions according to the gunas, and remembers that gunas move around in gunas, such one gets liberated from worldly activity. People deluded by the gunas are attached to the matters of these gunas. The wise one does not disturb such people whose understanding is not complete yet, and who are lazy. Let me control all actions, and you, immersed into the Atman, calm, free from selfishness and conceit, fight, O Arjuna. They who steadily follow my teachings, who are full of devotion and free from envy, they can never be bound by their deeds. And those insane who revile my teachings and do not follow them, who are devoid of understanding, know that they are doomed. Wise people seek to live in harmony with the world of Prakriti. All incarnate creatures are included in it. What can opposition to Prakriti give? Attraction and distraction to earthly objects depend on the distribution of Indriyas. Yield neither to the former nor to the latter. Verily, these states are obstacles on the path. To perform one's own duties, even very modest ones, is better than to perform others' duties, even the grandest ones. It is better to end the incarnation performing one's own dharma. The dharma of others is full of danger. Arjuna said, what drives people to commit sin against their own will, O Vrishneya? Truly it looks as if they are impelled by some unknown force. Lord Krishna said, it is sexual passion, it is anger, scions of the insatiable, sinful guna rajas. Study them, one's greatest enemies on the earth. As a flame can be veiled by smoke, as a mirror can be covered by dust, as an embryo is enveloped in the amnion, even so everything in the world is enshrouded in passions. The wisdom too is enshrouded by this eternal enemy of wisdom, by one's worldly desires, which are insatiable as flame. The Indriyas, including the mind and body, are the field of its action. Through them, having enshrouded the wisdom, it deludes the indweller of the body. Therefore, controlling your Indriyas, O best of the Bharatas, restrain this source of sin, the foe of knowledge and the destroyer of wisdom. They say that control over the Indriyas is good. The highest of the Indriyas are the Indriyas of the mind. But the developed consciousness is superior to the mind, and superior to a developed, individual human consciousness is he. Knowing that he is superior to the developed, human consciousness and being established in the Atman, destroy, O mighty armed, this enemy in the form of the hard-to-conquer desire of earthly boons. Thus in the Upanishads of the blessed Bhagavad Gita, the science of eternal, the scripture of yoga, says the third conversation between Shri Krishna and Arjuna, entitled Karma Yoga. Conversation 4. Yoga of Wisdom. Lord Krishna said, I taught this eternal yoga to Vivasvan. Vivasvan passed it to Manu. Manu related it to Ikshvaku. In this way, the king sages learned it from each other. But with time, yoga on the earth has deteriorated, O Parantapa. It is the same ancient yoga that I have imparted to you, for you are devoted to me, you are my friend. In this yoga the highest mystery is revealed. Arjuna said, you were born later, Vivasvan was born before. How should I understand that you were the first who revealed these teachings? Lord Krishna said, you and me had many births in the past, O Arjuna. I know all of them, but you do not know any of yours, O Parantapa. Though I am the eternal, imperishable Atman, though I am Ishvara, but inside Prakriti controlled by me, I manifest myself through my Maya. When there is a decline of righteousness on the earth, O Bharata, and unrighteousness begins to prevail, then I manifest myself. For the sake of saving good people and defeating those who do evil, for restoring the Dharma I manifest myself thus from age to age. The one who has really cognized the essence of my miraculous manifestations does not get born again after leaving the body, but merges with me, O Arjuna. Many of those who have freed themselves from false attachments, fear, and anger, who have cognized my beingness and become purified in the fire of wisdom attain great love for me. In whatever way people come to me, in the same way I receive them. For the paths by which people come to me from all sides are my paths, O Partha. Those seeking success in earthly activities worship gods. They can quickly achieve success in the world of matter from such actions. In accordance with the gunas and variants of people's activity, I establish the four varnas. Know that I am the creator of them, though I do not act, and stay uninvolved in them. Actions do not affect me, and a reward for actions does not attract me. The one who knows me thus does not get entangled in the karmic consequences of one's own actions. Knowing this, the sages who had attained the liberation performed actions. So you perform actions having examples of your predecessors. What is action, and what is non-action? Even the reasonable are confused by this. I am going to explain it to you, so that you may become free from confusion. One should understand that there are necessary action, vain action, and non-action. They who see non-action in activity and action in inactivity are truly conscious, and even being involved in action among others, such people remain free. They whose undertakings are free from the worldly inclinations and pursuits of personal profit, it is said about them that their deeds are purified by the fire of the developed consciousness. Pursuing not personal profit, always being content, seeking not support from anyone, they are in non-action, though they act constantly. Desiring not benefit for themselves, surrendering their thoughts to the Atman, renouncing the feeling this is mine, performing their dharmas, they do not stain their destinies. Since they are satisfied with whatever comes to them, free from duality, devoid of envy, even-minded in success and failure, their actions do not fetter them even when they act. They who have renounced attachments to the material and become free from the worldly passions, whose thoughts are established in wisdom, who perform actions as sacrificial offerings to God, all their actions merge with the harmony of the entire creation. The life of Brahman is sacrificial. Brahman is a sacrifice coming in a fiery appearance. One can attain Brahman only with his help. At that, one comes to samadhi. Some yogis believe that they perform sacrifice by worshipping gods. Others perform sacrificial service, being the Brahmanic fire. Some sacrifice their hearing and other organs of sense for the sake of self-control. Others sacrifice sound and other objects of sense that excite the Indriyas. Others, yet aspiring to wisdom, burn in the fire of the Atman all unnecessary activity of the Indriyas and the incoming energies, striving thus to gain wisdom. Others sacrifice the property, or perform sacrifice through asceticism, or through religious rituals, or through diligence in sciences, in learning, and through observance of austere vows. Others expose the energy outgoing from the body to the incoming energy, or the incoming energy to the outgoing one. Others move the outgoing and the incoming energies performing pranayama. All they, though having different appearance, yet understanding the essence of sacrifice, purify their destinies in the process of such activity. Those partaking of the nectar of the remnants of their offerings approach the abode of Brahman. This world is not for the one who does not sacrifice, say nothing of the bliss of the next world, O best of the Kuras. The offerings to Brahman are numerous and diverse. Know that all they are born of action. Having known this, you will become free. Superior to all outer sacrifices is the sacrifice of wisdom, O destroyer of enemies. All actions, O Partha, become perfect when they are performed by the wise. Therefore gain wisdom through devotion, inquiry, and service. Sages and clairvoyants, who perceive the essence of things, will impart this to you. And having known this, you will not be confused anymore, O Pandava, for then you will see all incarnate beings in the world of Maya from the world of the Atman. And even if you were the most sinful one, even then you could cross the sea of suffering on the boat of this wisdom. As fire turns firewood into ashes, so does the fire of wisdom burns all false actions to ashes. There is no purifier better than wisdom in this world. With its help, the one skilled in yoga attains enlightenment in the Atman in due course. The one full of faith gains wisdom. The one controlling the Indriyas gains it too. Having achieved wisdom, they quickly attain the higher worlds. But the ignorant, devoid of faith, irresolute go to destruction. For doubting ones there is neither this world, nor the next one, nor happiness. The one who has abandoned false action with the help of yoga, who has removed all doubts with the help of wisdom, who has become established in the Atman, cannot be bound by action, O Dhananjaya. Therefore, cutting the doubts born of ignorance with the sword of Atman's wisdom stay in yoga, O Bharata. Thus in the Upanishads of the blessed Bhagavad Gita, the science of eternal, the scripture of yoga, says the fourth conversation between Shri Krishna and Arjuna entitled, Yoga of Wisdom. Conversation 5. Yoga of Detachment. Arjuna said, You praise sannyasa, O Krishna, as well as yoga. Which of these two should I choose? Tell me for certain. Lord Krishna said, both sannyasa and karma yoga will bring you to the highest good. But, verily, karma yoga is preferable. Know that the true sannyasi is the one who hates no one and does not desire anything worldly. Free from duality, O mighty armed, such one easily breaks free from the bondage. Also, they are not sages, but children who speak about Sankhya and Yoga as about something different. Those zealous even in one of them gain the fruits of both. The level of advancement achieved by the followers of Sankhya is achieved by yogis as well. The one who sees that Sankhya and Yoga are one in essence is right. But without yoga, O mighty armed, it is hard to achieve sannyasa. On the other hand, the wise directed by yoga attain Brahman quickly. The one who is persevering in yoga, who has cleared thus the path to the Atman and established oneself in it, who has conquered the Indriyas, who has cognized oneness of the Atmans of all beings, such one remains steady even when acting. I do not perform unnecessary actions. This should know the one who has attained harmony and cognized the truth when looking, hearing, smelling, touching, eating, moving, sleeping, breathing. speaking, giving, receiving, opening and closing the eyes, such one should be aware, it is only the Indriyas moving among objects. The one who dedicates all actions to Brahman, performing them without any attachment, will never be stained with sin, as lotus's leaves cannot be wetted with water. Having renounced attachments to actions in the world of matter and to their fruits, a yogi acts by the body, consciousness, mind and other indriyas for the sake of cognition of his or her own Atman. The one who has become steady and has renounced the desire of reward for actions attains perfect peace. The unsteady one, driven by worldly desires and attached to the reward, is fettered. Having renounced unnecessary actions with the mind, the embodied one dwells evenly in the city of 9 gates, neither acting nor coercing anyone to act. Neither attitude to objects, as to one's own property, nor vain activity of people, nor attachments to its fruits, are created by the Lord of the world. All this is created by the life self-developing in the matter. The Lord is not responsible for the deeds of people, be they bad or good. This wisdom is covered by ignorance that overcame people. But to the one who has cognized the Atman, and has destroyed thus the ignorance, this wisdom, shining like the sun, reveals the Supreme. The one who has cognized oneself as a buddhi, who has associated oneself with the Atman, who is devoted only to the Lord, and takes refuge in him, such one, purified by salvational wisdom, goes to the liberation. The wise look equally upon all, be it a Brahman endowed with knowledge and humility, an elephant, a cow, a dog, or even a man eating a dog. Here on the earth, birth and death are conquered by the one whose mind is appeased. Brahman is devoid of sin and exists in calm. Therefore, those living in calm cognize Brahman. Being the calm pure consciousness, the one who has cognized Brahman and established oneself in Brahman neither rejoices receiving that which is pleasant, nor grieves receiving that which is unpleasant. The one who is not attached to satisfaction of the senses by outer things, and who finds joy in the Atman, such one, upon reaching unity with Brahman, partakes of the eternal bliss. Joys arising from contacts with material objects are verily the source of suffering, for all they begin and end, O Kunteya. The wise one finds joy not in them. The one who here, on the earth, before liberation from the body, can resist the power of worldly attractions and anger, such one achieves harmony and becomes a happy person. The one who is happy within, who finds joy not in the outer, who is illuminated by love within, such a yogi is capable of cognizing the essence of Brahman and attaining the nirvana in Brahman. The nirvana in Brahman is attained by those rishis who have gotten rid of vices, become free from duality, cognized the Atman, and dedicated themselves to the good of all. Free from worldly attractions and anger, dedicated to spiritual pursuits, having subdued the mind, and having cognized the Atman, they attain the nirvana in Brahman. Taking the indriyas off everything worldly, directing all the vision inside, paying attention to the incoming and outgoing energies, controlling the indriyas, mind, and consciousness, regarding liberation as the main aim, renouncing worldly attractions, fear and anger, man attains full freedom. Knowing me as great Ishvara, who rejoices at sacrificial deeds and spiritual feats, and who is the benefactor of all living beings, such a person attains full contentment. Thus in the Upanishads of the blessed Bhagavad Gita, the science of eternal, the scripture of yoga, says the fifth conversation between Shri Krishna and Arjuna, entitled, Yoga of Detachment. Conversation 6. Yoga of Self-Control. Lord Krishna said, the one who actively performs one's own duty without desiring a profit is a true sannyasi. Such one is a yogi, rather than those living without a fire and duties. Know, O Pandava, that which is called sannyasa is the same as yoga. The one who has not renounced worldly desires cannot become a yogi. For the reasonable one who aspires to yoga, action is the means. For the one who has attained yoga, non-action is the means. The one who has renounced worldly desires and attained yoga is attached neither to earthly objects nor to worldly activity. With the help of the Atman, let a yogi uncover the own Atman. And let the Atman be never lowered again. One can be a friend to the Atman, one can be a foe to the Atman. The one who cognizes the Atman is a friend to the Atman. The one who opposes the Atman remains the Atman's foe. The one who has cognized the Atman attains full peace, because such one takes refuge in the divine consciousness, when being in cold or heat, in situations of joy or grief, honor or dishonor. True yogis are those who are calmed by wisdom and knowledge of the Atman, who are steadfast, whose indriyas are subjugated, to whom a clod, a stone, and gold are the same. The one who has developed oneself as a consciousness and advanced spiritually is well disposed both to friends and to foes, to neutrals, to strangers, to the envious, to relatives, to the pious, and to the vicious. Let a yogi be constantly concentrating in the Atman, being in seclusion, self-disciplined, not indulging in reveries, devoid of the feeling of possessiveness. Having arranged in a clean place a firm seat for working with the Atman, neither too high nor too low, covered with the kusha grass, and with cloth which is alike to deerskin. Having concentrated the mind on one thing and subjugated the indriyas, staying calmly in one place, the yogi should practice yoga, experiencing bliss in the Atman. Keeping upright the trunk, neck, and head, directing the look to the tip of the nose, but not looking, scattering not the attention. Having become established in the Atman, fearless, steadfast in brahmacharya, the mind conquered, the thoughts directed towards me, the yogi should aspire to me as to his ultimate purpose. The yogi who has merged with the Atman and who controls the mind enters the highest nirvana and abides there in me. Verily, yoga is not for those who eat too much or do not eat at all, nor for those who sleep too long or wake too long, O Arjuna. Yoga dispels all suffering in the one who has become moderate in eating, resting, working, also in sleeping and waking. Such a person who is free from all cravings and is concentrated in the Atman alone is regarded to be in harmony. The yogi who has subjugated the mind and is one with the Atman is like a lamp in a windless place whose flame does not flicker. When the mind calmed by yoga exercises becomes quiet, when the yogi finds bliss in the Atman contemplating the Atman by the Atman, when this yogi attains that highest bliss accessible only to a developed consciousness and lying beyond the ordinary reach of indriyas, and having cognized this bliss the yogi never strays from the truth, and having attained this, the yogi cannot imagine something higher, and existing in this state such one is not shaken, even by the most grave sorrow. Such a break of ties with grief is to be called yoga. One should give oneself to such yoga resolutely, without wavering. Having abandoned vain desires and conquered all the indriyas, gradually calming the consciousness, the yogi should study his or her own essence, the Atman, without distracting thoughts to anything else. If the uneasy and fickle mind wanders away, curb it and constantly direct it to the Atman. The highest happiness awaits a yogi whose mind has become calm and whose passions have faded, who has become sinless and alike to Brahman. A yogi who has achieved inner harmony and has gotten rid of vices easily experiences the unlimited bliss of the contact with Brahman. The one established in yoga sees the Atman in every being and all beings dwelling in the Atman. Such one sees the same everywhere. They who see me everywhere and see everything in me, I will never forsake them, and they will never forsake me. They, established in such oneness, who worship me present in everything, such yogis live in me whatever their activity is. The one who sees manifestations of the Atman in everything, and who has cognized through this the sameness of everything, both the pleasant and the unpleasant, such one is regarded as a perfect yogi, O Arjuna. Arjuna said, for such yoga, which is attained through inner balance, O Madhusadana, I do not see a firm ground in myself because of the restlessness of the mind. For the mind is truly restless, O Krishna. It is turbulent, obstinate, hard to restrain. I think it is as difficult to curb it as to curb the wind. Lord Krishna said, no doubt, O mighty armed, the mind is restless and hard to curb. Yet, one can put it under control by constant practice and dispassionateness. Yoga is hard to attain for man who has not cognized the Atman. But the one who has cognized the Atman is on the right way to yoga, this is my opinion. Arjuna said. The one who has not renounced everything worldly but is endowed with faith, who has not subjugated the mind and fell away from yoga, what will happen to such a person, O Krishna? Will the one who has failed on both of the paths and has strayed from the path to Brahman be destroyed like a riven cloud, O Mighty One? Dispel my doubts, O Krishna. You alone can do this. Lord Krishna said, O Partha, there is no destruction to such a person either in this world or in the next. The one who has wished to behave righteously will never come on the path of sorrow, O my beloved. Such a person, who fell away from yoga, having attained the worlds of righteous people, and having stayed there countless years, then such one gets born again in a pure and blessed family. Such one may even be born in a family of wise yogis, but such a birth is very hard to attain. Such one is born again, being the consciousness developed in the previous incarnation, and continues advancement on the path to perfection. O joy of the chorus! The merits of the previous life drive this person forward. The one who has aspired to cognition of yoga surpasses the level of the ritual religious practice. Yogis who strive tirelessly, who have ridden themselves of vices, and over many incarnations, have been going to perfection. Such yogis achieve the supreme aim. A yogi is superior to ascetics, to sages, to a man of action. Therefore, become a yogi, O Arjuna. Among all yogis, I respect most the one who lives in me, being connected with me through the Atman, and serves me wholeheartedly. Thus in the Upanishads of the blessed Bhagavad Gita, the science of eternal, the scripture of yoga, says the sixth conversation between Shri Krishna and Arjuna, entitled, Yoga of Self-Control. Conversation 7. Yoga of Profound Knowledge. Lord Krishna said, Listen, O Partha, how being directed with your mind to me, and practicing yoga under my guidance, you can come to the ultimate cognition of me. I am going to reveal to you the knowledge and wisdom in all their fullness. After knowing them, you will have nothing to learn more. Among thousands of people, scarcely one strives for perfection. And among those striving, only a few come to know my essence. Earth, water, fire, air, akasha, mind, consciousness and individual I, all this is what exists in the world of my prakriti, 8 in total. This is my lower nature. Know also, O mighty armed, my higher nature, which is that element of life thanks to which the whole world is sustained. It is the womb of everything existing. I am the source of the manifest universe, and it disappears in me. There is nothing superior to me. Everything is threaded on me like stringed pearls. I am the taste of water, O Kunteya. I am the shining of the moon, and the light of the sun, and pranava, and universal knowledge, and the cosmic voice, and humanity in people. I am the pure scent of earth and the warmth of fire. I am the life of all the living, and the exploits of spiritual warriors. Try to cognize in me the primal essence of all beings, O Partha. I am the consciousness of all those who have developed the consciousness. I am the splendor of all the beautiful. I am the strength of the strong who are devoid of attachments and sexual passions. I am the sexual power in all beings that does not contradict Dharma, O Lord of the Bharatas. Know that Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas originate from me, but understand that they are in me, not I in them. The entire world deluded by the properties of the three gunas does not know me eternal, existing beyond these gunas. Verily, it is hard to overcome my maya formed by the gunas. Only they who approach me transcend it. They who do evil are ignorant, the worst among men, they do not come to me. The maya deprives them of wisdom, and they become demons. There are 4 types of righteous men worshipping me, O Arjuna, desiring to free themselves from suffering, aspiring to knowledge, seeking personal achievements, and the wise. Among them, superior to the 3 others is the wise, even-minded and devoted to me completely. Verily, I am dear to the wise and the wise are dear to me, all of them are worthy. But I deem the wise to be alike to me. because merging with the Atman, the wise cognize me their supreme aim. At the end of many births, the wise man comes to me. Vasudeva is everything, says the one of rare Mahatma's qualities. Those deprived of wisdom by desires worship gods and perform rituals, which correspond to their nature. Whatever image people worship with faith, I strengthen the faith of everyone. Imbued with this faith, they pray and receive what they ask from the same source. But the command to give the asked originates from me. Verily ephemeral is the gain of the ignorant. They who worship gods go to these gods, and they who love me go to me. The ignorant deem me unmanifest, achieved manifestation, knowing not about my unlimited, eternal, and supreme existence. Not everyone cognizes me, concealed in my creative Maya. The mistaken world does not know me unborn, eternal. I know the past, the present, and the future creations, O Arjuna, but no one here knows me. Due to wandering in duality because of the attraction and distraction to earthly objects, O Bharata, all newly born beings live in ignorance. But righteous people, who have rooted out their vices, become free from this duality and resolutely go towards me. Seeking refuge in me, they long for liberation from birth and death. They come to the knowledge of the Atman, to the realization of the Atman for themselves, to understanding of the principles of destiny formation. And they who cognize me as the highest existence, as Supreme God who receives all sacrifices, they, devoted to me, meet me at the moment of departure from the body. Thus in the Upanishads of the blessed Bhagavad Gita, the science of eternal, the scripture of yoga, says the seventh conversation between Shri Krishna and Arjuna, entitled, Yoga of Profound Knowledge. Conversation 8. Imperishable and Eternal Brahman. Arjuna said, What is Brahman? What is the Atman? What is action, O greatest soul? What is the material, and what is the divine? What is sacrifice, and how is it performed by the embodied? And how, O Madhusadana, the one who has cognized the Atman cognizes you at the moment of death? Lord Krishna said, The indestructible and highest is Brahman. The main essence of embodied beings is the Atman. What sustains life of the incarnate is called action. The knowledge about the material concerns my perishable nature. The knowledge about the divine concerns Purusha. The knowledge about the highest sacrifice concerns me in this body, O best of the embodied, and the one who departing from the body is conscious only about me at the moment of death. Such one comes to my existence. Whatever state is habitual to man at the end of existence in the body, in that very state this person remains, O Kunteya. Therefore, remember me always and fight. Aspiring to me with the mind and consciousness, you will surely enter me. Having achieved peace with the help of yoga, distracting the attention to nothing else, reflecting always on the Supreme One attains the highest divine spirit, the one who knows everything about the eternal omnipresent ruler of the world, the one subtler than the subtlest, the foundation of everything, formless, shining like the sun behind the darkness, who at the moment of departure does not distract the mind and love, being in yoga, who opens the passage of energy between the eyebrows. Such one attains the highest divine spirit, the path which men of knowledge call the path to the eternal, which spiritual warriors walk through self-control and liberation from passions, which brahmacharyas walk. That path I will describe to you in brief. Having closed all gates of the body, lock the mind and the heart, directing the Atman to the Supreme, being established firmly in yoga, chanting the mantra of Brahman Om, and being conscious about me. Anyone departing so from the body attains the supreme aim. The one who constantly thinks only about me, having no thoughts about anything else, such as steady yogi, O Partha, easily attains me. Having come to me, such Mahatmas never get born again in this transient vale of tears. They attain the highest perfection. Those dwelling in the worlds lower than the world of Brahman get born again, O Arjuna. But they who have attained me are not subject to new births. The one who knows the day of Brahman, which lasts 1,000 of yugas, and his night, which comes to an end after 1,000 of yugas, such one knows the day and night. From the unmanifest, all the manifest comes forth at the beginning of the day. With coming of the night, all the manifest dissolves in that which is called unmanifest. All the multitude of beings giving birth to one another disappear with the beginning of the night. With the beginning of the day, all beings, by the highest command, appear anew. But, verily, superior to this unmanifest, there is yet another unmanifest, which also remains at the time when all the manifest perishes. This unmanifest is called the most perfect one, and is known as the ultimate purpose. They who have attained it do not come back. This is that which dwells in my supreme abode. This highest consciousness, O Partha, is attained by steadfast devotion to it alone, to the one in whom exists all the existing, and who pervades the entire world. Now I am going to tell you, O best of the Bharatas, about the time at which depart the yogis who are never to return, and the time at which depart the yogis who are to return again. Dying at fire, at daylight, on the wax of the moon, at the time of 6 months of the northward passage of the sun, yogis knowing Brahman go to Brahman. Dying in smoke, at night, on the wane of the moon, at the time of 6 months of the southward passage of the sun, yogis obtaining the light of the moon come back. Light and darkness, these are two ever-existing paths. By the first path go those who do not return. By the second path go those who return again. Knowing these two paths, let a yogi never go astray. So, be steadfast in yoga, O Arjuna, studying the Vedas, performing sacrifice, ascetic exploits, and good deeds give proper fruits. But yogis possessing the true knowledge are superior to all these. They attain the supreme abode. Thus in the Upanishads of the blessed Bhagavad Gita, the science of eternal, the scripture of yoga, says the 8th conversation between Shri Krishna and Arjuna, entitled, Imperishable and Eternal Brahman. Conversation 9. Sovereign Knowledge and Sovereign Mystery. Lord Krishna said, to you, devoid of envy, I am going to reveal the greatest mystery, the wisdom by knowing which you will get free from the bondage of the material existence. It is a sovereign science, a sovereign mystery, the supreme purifier. It is cognized through direct experience as the righteousness grows. It is easily realized and gives imperishable fruits. They who deny this knowledge do not attain me, and return to the ways of this world of death. By me in my unmanifest form this entire world is pervaded. All beings have roots in me, but I do not have a root in them. Yet, all beings are not in me. Behold my divine yoga, supporting all beings, having no root in them. My essence represents the power that sustains them. As the mighty wind blowing everywhere exists in space, even so everything exists in me. Try to understand this. At the end of a kalpa, O Kunteya, all beings are consumed by my prakriti. In the new kalpa, I produce them again. Entering into my prakriti, I create anew all beings. I create them who are powerless by my power. These actions do not bind me, unruffled, unattached to actions. Under my supervision, prakriti gives birth to the moving and non-moving. This is why, O Kunteya, this cosmic manifestation functions. The insane disregard me when they meet me in the corporal human form, for they do not know my supreme divine essence. They are astray in faith, astray in deeds, astray in knowledge, wandered to the dead end, demoniac, indulging in lie. But Mahatmas, O Partha, having transcended my divine Maya, serve me purposefully, knowing me as the inexhaustible source of creations. Some of them, praising me always, ardently aspiring to me, simply worship me with love. Others, by performing a sacrifice of wisdom, worship me as one and multiform, present everywhere. I am the active sacrifice. I am the sacrifice. I am also the oil, the fire, and the offering. I am the Father of the universe, the Mother, the support, the complete knowledge, the purifier, the mantra Om. I am also the Rig, Sama, and Yajur Vedas. I am the destination, the beloved, the ruler, the witness, the abode, the refuge, the loving, the beginning, the end, the basis, the treasury, the inexhaustible source. I give warmth. I hold back, or send forth rain. I am immortality, and I am death. I am the manifest and non-manifest, O Arjuna. Those knowing the Vedas, drinking soma, devoid of vices, worshipping me with sacrificial deeds, asking of me the way to paradise, they reach the world of gods and partake of divine feasts. Having enjoyed this vast heavenly world, they return to the world of mortals when their merits are exhausted. Thus, following the three Vedas, indulging in worldly desires, they attain the perishable. They who aspire to me alone with steadfast faith and devotion, thinking about nothing else to them, I give my covering, and even those who are devoted to gods, and worship them with full faith, they worship also me, O Kunteya, though in a wrong way. All sacrifices are received by me, for I am the Lord. But they do not know my essence, and therefore fall away from the truth. Those worshipping gods go to gods, those worshipping ancestors go to the ancestors, those worshipping the spirits of nature go to the spirits of nature, and those who devote themselves to me go to me. If one offers to me with love even a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I accept this as a gift of love from the one pure in the Atman. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you sacrifice or offer, whichever feat you perform, O Kunteya, perform it as an offering to me. Thus you will break free from the fetters of actions that produce good or bad karmic fruits. Having united with the Atman through sannyasa and yoga, you will attain the liberation in me. I am equal towards all beings. To me there is no hateful or dear ones. But, verily, they who are devoted to me with love, they are in me, and I am in them. Even if the most sinful ones worship me with an undivided heart, they should be counted as righteous, because they decided righteously. They will promptly become performers of Dharma and attain eternal peace. Be sure, the one who loves me will never perish. All who seek refuge in me, O Partha, even if they are born by bad parents, even women, Vaishyas, Shudras, they nevertheless come to the highest path. How much more it concerns righteous Brahmins and wise Rajas full of love. So, you being in this joyless world, seek refuge in me. Fix your mind on me, love me, sacrifice to me, revere me. To me will you finally come, being consumed by the Atman, if you have me as your highest purpose. Thus in the Upanishads of the blessed Bhagavad Gita, the science of eternal, the scripture of yoga, says the ninth conversation between Shri Krishna and Arjuna, entitled Sovereign Knowledge and Sovereign Mystery. Conversation 10. Manifestation of Power. Lord Krishna said, "Again, O mighty armed, listen to my highest instructions for your own good, my beloved. My origin is known neither to gods, nor to the multitude of great sages. For I am the progenitor of all gods and all great sages. Among mortals, the one who cognizes me unborn, originless, the great Lord of the universe, such a truly non-deluded one becomes free from the bondage of fate, awareness of actions, wisdom, resoluteness, all forgiveness, honesty, self-control, calm, joy, pain, birth, death, fear, and fearlessness, compassion, equanimity, contentment, spiritual aspiration, generosity, fame, and infamy. I create all this diversity of states of living beings. The 7 great sages and the 4 manas prior to them also were born of my nature, and by my thought, from them all nations originated. The one who has cognized my greatness and my yoga is really deeply immersed into yoga. There is no doubt about this. I am the source of everything. Everything originates from me. Having understood this, the wise worship me with great delight, directing their thoughts at me, devoting their lives to me, enlightening each other, always conversing about me. They are happy and content. To them always full of love I gift Buddha Yoga, by means of which they attain me. Helping them, I dispel the darkness of ignorance from their Atmans by the radiance of knowledge. Arjuna said, "You are the supreme God, the supreme abode, the perfect purity, the universal soul, the primordial, our eternal Lord." All sages proclaimed you thus, divine sage Narada, and Asita, and Devala, and Vyasa. And now you yourself told me the same. I believe in the truth of everything said by you. Your manifestations, O blessed Lord, are comprehensible neither to gods nor to demons. You alone know yourself as the Atman of Atmans, as the Supreme Soul, as the source of all creatures, as the ruler of everything existing, as the Lord of gods, as the Master of the universe. Tell me in full about your divine glory, in which you abide pervading all the worlds. How can I cognize you, O yogi? By constant contemplation. In what forms should I think about you, O Blessed One? Tell me again in detail about your yoga and glory. I can never be satiated listening to your life-giving words. Lord Krishna said, "Let it be as you wish. I will tell you about my divine glory, but only the most important of it, since there is no limit to my manifestations. O conqueror of enemies, I am the Atman that resides in the hearts of all beings. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all creatures. Of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. Of all winds, I am the ruler of winds. Of other lights, I am the moon. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of gods, I am the king of gods. Of the Indriyas, I am the mind. In all beings, I am the life-giving force. Of the Rudras, I am Shankara. I am the ruler of the divine and demonic. Of the Vasas, I am fire. Of mountains, I am Meru. Know me, O Partha, as the head of all priests Brihaspati. Of warrior chiefs, I am Skanda. Of water bodies, I am the ocean. Of great rishis, I am Bhrigu. Of words, I am Om. Of offerings, I am chanting of mantras. Of the immovable, I am the Himalayas. Of trees, I am Ashvatha. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitraratha. Of perfect ones, I am wise Kapila. Of horses, know me as Uchashrava born of nectar. Among kingly elephants, I am Airavata. Among men, I am the king. Of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Of cows, I am Kamadhyuka. Of procreating ones, I am Kandarpa. Of serpents, I am Vasuki. Of the Nagas, I am Ananta. Of inhabitants of the sea, I am Varuna. Of ancestors, I am Aryama. Of judges, I am Yama. Of the Daityas, I am Prahlada. Of those who count, I am the time. Of wild animals, I am the lion. Of birds, I am Garuda. Of purifying elements, I am the wind. Of warriors, I am Rama. Of fishes, I am Makara. Of rivers, I am the Ganges. For creations, I am the beginning, the end, and the middle. Of all sciences, I am the science about the divine Atman. I am also the speech of those endowed with eloquence. Of the letters, I am A. I am also the duality in combinations of letters. I am the eternal time. I am the all-pervasive creator. I am all-devouring death, and the origin of everything to be. Of women's qualities, I am uncommonness, beauty, exquisite speech, memory, wit, constancy, forgiveness. Of hymns, I am Brihatsaman. Of the meters, I am Gayatri. Of the months, I am Magashirsha. Of the seasons, I am blossoming spring. I am in the gambling of cheats, in the magnificence of the most magnificent things. I am victory. I am resoluteness. I am the truth of the truthful. Of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva. Of the Pandavas, I am Dhananjaya. Of Munis, I am Vyasa. Of singers, I am Ashana. I am punishment for crime. I am morals for those seeking victory. I am the silence of secret. I am the knowledge of knowers. I am everything which is the original source of everything existing, O Arjuna. There is nothing moving or non-moving which can exist without me. There is no limit to my divine power, O conqueror of enemies. All that was declared to you are but examples of my divine glory, all which is mighty, true, beautiful, firm. Know that all this is but a trifling part of my magnificence. But of what use for you is the knowledge of all these details, O Arjuna? Having enlivened the whole universe with a minute part of myself, I remain. Thus in the Upanishads of the blessed Bhagavad Gita, the science of eternal, the scripture of yoga, says the 10th conversation between Shri Krishna and Arjuna, entitled, Manifestation of Power. Conversation 11. Vision of the Universal Form. Arjuna said, out of compassion you revealed to me this highest mystery of the divine Atman. It has dispelled my ignorance. You have told me, O lotus-eyed, how all beings arise and disappear. I have learned also about your imperishable greatness. As you describe yourself, O great Lord, I am thirsting to see you in your divine form, O Supreme Spirit. If you hold me worthy to see it, O God, then show me your eternal being, O Lord of Yoga. Lord Krishna said, Behold, O Partha, my form of 100 faces, of 1,000 shapes, divine, multicolored, multifarious. Behold Adityas, Vasis, Rudras, Asvins, merits. Behold countless miracles, O Bharata. Behold in my being, O Gudakesha, the entire universe moving and non-moving with everything that you desire to see. But truly you are not capable of seeing me with your eyes, so I endow you with divine eyes. Behold my majestic yoga. Sanjaya said, having uttered this, the great Lord of Yoga showed to Arjuna his universal form. With countless eyes and mouths, with many miraculous sights, with numerous divine adornments, brandishing numerous divine weapons, in divine garments and necklaces, anointed with divine fragrant oils, with faces to all sides, all wonderful, flaming, infinite. And if the shining of 1,000 suns blazed forth in the sky, it would be comparable to the glory of this great soul. In it Arjuna saw the whole universe subdivided into many worlds, but united into one in the body of the highest deity. Then astonished Arjuna bowed his head to the deity, joined his palms and spoke. Arjuna said, In you, O God, I see gods, all kinds of beings, the Lord Brahman seated in the wonderful lotus asana, all rishis, and wondrous celestial serpents, with countless arms, bellies, mouths, eyes everywhere I see you unlimited are your manifestations. My eyes can see neither the beginning, nor the middle, nor the end of your glory, O infinite, boundless Lord. I behold your radiance, your infinite omnipresent light with discs, diadems, and scepters. Like blazing flame, or a dazzling sun, you radiate the rays of light hard to look at. You are beyond my thinking, O imperishable Lord, the supreme aim, the foundation of the universe, the immortal keeper of the eternal Dharma, the primordial soul. Thus my mind conceives you. There is neither the beginning of you, nor the middle, nor the end. You are unlimited in your power. Your arms are countless. Like suns and moons are your eyes. When I behold your face, it blazes like sacrificial fire and scorches the worlds with your glory. You alone fill heaven and the earth, and everything which is extended invisibly between them. The whole triune world trembles in front of you, O Mighty One, in front of your terrifying face. Hosts of gods surrender to you, folding palms in awe. All appeal to you, and armies of saints and siddhas praise you. Make hymns that sound throughout the entire universe, and hosts of Rudras, Adityas, Vasis, and Satyas, Visvas, Asvins, merits, ancestors, Gandharvas, Asuras, Yakshas, gods all are admiring you, seeing your mighty form with eyes and mouths of untold number, with rows of fearsome teeth, with a vast breast, with countless hands and feet. The worlds are trembling, and so am I. Like a rainbow in the sky, you are shining with dazzling light with mouths wide open and giant flaming eyes. You penetrate my Atman. As I behold you, my strength fades away, my peace vanishes. Like flaming glittering swords are your numerous teeth in the open fearful jaws. The sight of them terrifies me. I do not know where to hide from the vision of you. Be merciful, O Lord, the refuge of the worlds. Dhritarashtra's sons and many rulers from various countries of the earth, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and heroes from the both belligerent parties. They all are rushing into your open mouths, where rows of teeth glitter fearfully. Like mighty millstones they grind all warriors, clutched between them, turning their bodies to ashes. As waters of rivers rapidly and violently rush towards the great ocean, even so these mighty warriors, rulers of the earth, rush headlong into your open burning mouths. As a moth swiftly flies into a flame to die in it, so they rush into the dreadful jaws to disappear in them, and find death there, devouring everything in all directions. The fire of your countless tongues burns to ashes all creatures. The space is filled with your radiance. The world is blazing under your all-pervading rays, O Lord. Reveal to me your essence. Your vision is frightening me beyond all measure. I prostrate myself in front of you. Have mercy on me, O mighty Lord. What is concealed in you, I aspire to know, but your present form is terrifying to me. Lord Krishna said, I am the time that brings desperation to the world and that slays all people, manifesting its law on the earth. No one of the warriors arraying here for battle will escape death. You alone will not cease to live. Therefore, arise and reach your glory, vanquish your enemies, and enjoy the power of your kingdom. They are already slain by my will. You are to provide just the outer appearance, to slay them with your hand. Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, and all the warriors present here are doomed to die. Therefore fight boldly, O Arjuna, and the victory on this battlefield will be yours. Sanjaya said, having heard the words said by the Lord, Arjuna, trembling and prostrating, addressed Krishna again with voice faltering of fear. The worlds are right to rejoice in praising you in songs and hymns beholding your magnificence, O Rishikesha. Hosts of saints prostrate in front of you, and demons scatter in fear. And how can they not venerate the great Atman, which is superior to Brahman? O Infinite One, the Lord of all righteous men, the refuge of all worlds, eternal. You are both beingness and non-beingness, and that which is beyond them. Among gods, no one is superior to you, the primordial one, the supreme refuge of all the living. You pervade the entire universe, O cognizable, O omniscient. The whole universe is contained in your form. You are the God of wind, the God of life, the God of death, the God of fire, the God of water. You are the moon, the father, the progenitor of all beings. Be praised 1,000 times, again and again. Be ever praised. All prostrate in front of you, hail to you from all sides. There is neither limit to your might nor measure to your power. You include everything, since you are everything. If sometimes I inadvertently addressed you as my friend, O Krishna, O my friend, I did this out of my emotions, being unaware of your greatness. And if when resting, joking, playing, eating, or having fun, I did not show the due respect to you being alone with you, or together with other friends, I beseech you, forgive me my sin, O immeasurable, the Father of the worlds, and of everything moving or non-moving, the most honorable and glorious Guru. There is nothing comparable to you. Who can excel you? Who in all worlds can surpass your glory? I prostrate myself in awe before you and implore you, be forbearing with me. Be my Father, be my friend. As loving one with the beloved, even so you bear with me. I have beheld your glory seen by no one before. I am shivering with fear and joy. I implore you, assume your previous form. Have mercy on me, O Lord of gods, the refuge of worlds. I strive to see the former you in your glittering crown, and with a kingly mace in your hand. Show me your form, which is known and dear to me. Hide this multi-armed appearance of yours, unbearable for mortals. Lord Krishna said, Arjuna, by my grace you came to know my supreme and eternal form, which is revealed only in yoga, in mergence with the Atman. Of all men around, no one but you has seen it. Neither merits, nor knowing the Vedas, nor offerings, nor exploits of ascetics, nor profoundness of knowledge, nothing is able to reveal this concealed form of mine that you saw. Allay your confusion and trepidation. Do not be afraid about seeing my awesome form. Forget your fear. Cheer up. Behold my appearance well known to you. Sanjaya said, having said these words, Krishna assumed his usual appearance and comforted shocked Arjuna. The Great One took again his mild appearance. Arjuna said, seeing again your mild human appearance, I am coming to myself and regaining my normal state. Lord Krishna said, that form of mine, which you have seen, is very hard to see. Even gods are ever eager to see it. One cannot see me such as you have seen, even if one knows all the Vedas, performs ascetic exploits, makes offerings. Only love can behold me thus, O Arjuna. Only love can contemplate me in my innermost essence, and merge with me. the one who does everything, only, for me, for whom I am the supreme aim, who loves me, who is detached, devoid of enmity, such one comes to me, O Pandava. Thus in the Upanishads of the blessed Bhagavad Gita, the science of eternal, the scripture of yoga, says the 11th conversation between Shri Krishna and Arjuna, entitled, Vision of the Universal Form. Conversation 12, Bhakti Yoga. Arjuna said, who is more successful in yoga, those full of love for you, or those worshipping the incognizable unmanifest? Lord Krishna said, they who fix the mind on me, are devoted to me, and constantly aspire to me, they are more successful in yoga. They who worship the indestructible, untold, unmanifest, omnipresent, incognizable, immutable, unmovable, eternal, who conquer their indriyas, who are equally calm about everything, who are happy about the good of others, they too come to me. But for those who direct their thoughts to the unmanifest, this achievement is more difficult, it is harder for them to progress. They who have renounced the Maya for the sake of me and keep concentration on me, practicing yoga, O Partha, I promptly raise them above the ocean of births and deaths, for they dwell by the souls in me. Fix your thoughts on me, submerge yourself as a consciousness into me verily, then you will live in me. But if you are not able to fix your thoughts steadily on me, try to reach me by practicing yoga, O Dhananjaya. If you are not capable of doing constantly yoga exercises, then dedicate yourself to serving me, performing only those actions which are needful to me, and you will achieve perfection. If you are not able of doing even this, then seek mergence with me, by renouncing the personal profit of your activity. Restrain yourself in this way. Knowledge is more important than exercises. Meditation is more important than knowledge. But renouncing personal profit is more important than meditation, because after such renunciation peace comes. The one who is hostile to no living being, who is friendly and compassionate, without worldly attachments and egoism, even-minded among joy and sorrow, all forgiving, ever content, seeking unity with me, resolutely cognizing the Atman, having devoted the mind and consciousness to me, such a loving me disciple is dear to me. The one who does not injure people, and does not suffer from them, who is free from anxiety, elation, anger, fear, such one is dear to me. The one who requires nothing from others, who is pure, knowing, passionless, selfless, who has abandoned all undertakings, such a loving me disciple is dear to me. The one who neither falls in love nor hates, who neither grieves, nor seeks self-profit, who has transcended good and bad, who is full of love, such one is dear to me, equal towards a friend, and towards a foe, the same towards glorification and disgrace, in warmth and in cold, among joy and sorrow, free from worldly attachments, regarding equally praise and blame, laconic, content with everything that happens, not attached to home, determined in decisions, full of love, such a person is dear to me. Verily, all who share this life-giving wisdom, who are imbued with faith, for whom I am the supreme aim, such loving me people are dear to me above all. Thus in the Upanishads of the blessed Bhagavad Gita, the science of eternal, the scripture of yoga, says the 12th conversation between Shri Krishna and Arjuna, entitled Bhakti Yoga. Conversation 13, Field and Knower of the Field. You will see in the next part via the link in the description of the video, or in the first comment. And that's not all. Our experts and regular viewers respond to all comments. Also check if you forgot to subscribe and set your bell to receive notifications about new audiobooks and other useful self-development materials that we release regularly. Join in the discussions, don't forget to give likes and, if possible and inspired, support the development of the channel financially. All useful links will be in the description and the first attached comment. Goodness, love and wisdom to all. And now move on to watch the next part of the video at the links below, or choose something from the playlists of the channel and those you see on the screen.